Hello everyone, this is the second part of my two-part video series on my thoughts of the CFL's new signature jerseys that were unveiled in 2014. Now, for those of you who did not watch my first video, for that video what I did was I covered the 4 Eastern Conference teams. And for this video, I will be covering the 5 Western Conference teams. And with that, I'm going to begin with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Now, for their signature jersey, they pulled something right out of left field. Anyway, they went with an all navy blue jersey and all navy blue uniform. And before I even start to nitpick the jersey, the first thing that really annoyed me right off the hop was that there was not a single speck of gold anywhere on the jersey, which the Blue Bombers have always been blue and gold. And I just don't get it. Instead, they got rid of the gold. And what they did was they subbed all the gold and they replaced it with camo. Blue digital camouflage. And they have camouflage all over the top of the jersey. They have camouflage side panels, camouflage down the sides of the pants. And to put a rotten cherry on the cake, they put a camouflage helmet on top of all of that. And instead of numbers on the front, they've got a big silver W instead. And you know what? The first thing I thought of when I first saw that jersey was, wow, do these ever look like pajamas? I mean, this uniform is ugly. I think it is absolutely horrendous. And I think it's a huge disappointment. Because if there's any team that could really do something creative, it's the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And you know what? I honestly believe that if they really wanted to, they could have stuck to blue and gold and even included a little bit of this camo and still produced a half-decent third jersey. But instead they made a look that not only looks way too much like pajamas, on top of that, the fact that they have no gold on the jersey, you know what it makes them look like? The Toronto Argonauts. It looks like it's something that the Toronto Argonauts would do for a military tribute jersey or something like that. I mean, to me, it's not the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And yes, I get it. It's an alternate uniform, but it looks too much like the Argonauts for me. I mean, nothing about it says Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Well, besides the fact that it's navy blue. But the thing is, the Argonauts are known for being navy blue and actually being double blue and white. Well, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers alternate jersey is navy blue with a bunch of specks of blue because of their digital camo, white and silver. I mean, it's just too much Toronto Argonauts for me. And I really think it's brutal. It's a really, really ugly look, and I really think that the Blue Bombers completely failed on this one, and it's just terrible. Now, moving on, I'm going to talk about the Edmonton Eskimos. Now, unlike the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, these guys decided to keep it simple. However, the problem with the Eskimos is that I would argue that they kept it a little too simple, and here's why. So anyways, first off, their home jersey is a really nice dark green jersey with really nice striping on it, and it looks like the Green Bay Packers, except it's got enough changes on it that you can tell it's the Edmonton Eskimos. And they have a great home jersey, and what they did for their alternate uniform is they completely scrapped the stripes on the arms, and they even took the main front numbers off, and they replaced it with their logo without the circle, the 2 E's for Edmonton Eskimos, and it's a big logo with the two E's slapped on the front of the jersey. And it's dark green, except they decided to take a bad page out of the 2007-2008 Edmonton Oilers jerseys that were finally ditched a few years ago. And they decided to stick this horrible, ugly vertical piping on the front of the jersey. And it's a real head scratcher for me because it looks terrible. And on top of that, they've got a new helmet, a new dark green helmet with the two big EE initials on it without the circle. And it's enlarged to the point that it looks a lot like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers new logo on their helmets of their hideous new uniforms in the NFL. And overall, this jersey's bad, but what really bothers me the most is that it's really boring. Because in all honesty, they didn't really bring anything new. All they did was strip down their green home jersey and turn it into a really boring looking practice jersey, and they wear that for their alternate uniform. I mean, it's still dark green, and all it's missing is the striping on the arms, and it's got this yellow vertical piping on the front, and it's got their two initials, the EE, the two interlocking E's on the front. And it's still got the yellow pants, and instead it's got the dark green helmet. And I really think it's maybe the most pointless alternate uniform out of all the signature jerseys in the CFL. I mean, even if they made the jersey yellow, or gold if you're an American, even if they would have just made it a golden yellow, the jersey would have been passable because it would have been, it's something new, right? Because if it was a yellow jersey with green vertical piping, it still would be very boring and it wouldn't be a very good jersey, but at least it'd be something different. I mean, at least it wouldn't just be a boring stripped down version of your home jersey. But anyways, all in all, compared to some of the signature jerseys that have been unveiled in the CFL, this jersey's actually not the worst. And for this jersey, in the past year, I've kind of got a little bit of a glass half full kind of opinion on it. And it might surprise you after me saying, hey, this thing's terrible, it's boring. But anyways, allow me to explain. For this jersey, there's one thing that I do really like about it. Instead of it being a forest green jersey with yellow and white, it's just green and gold. And I actually think that just the plain yellow numbers and letters on the jersey is actually a much cleaner look than the yellow and white on their current home jersey. And I kind of hope that if the Edmonton Eskimos one of these days decide to make some changes to their main jerseys, I hope that they'll make it mostly gold with just a tiny bit of white. Because you know what? Green and gold by themselves work just fine. I mean, the white's good, but I find that it actually looks better with mostly gold rather than dark green with gold and white on it. And it kind of looks a little bit cluttered on their home jersey. And the one thing that I do like about the Eskimo signature jersey is that it's a little bit cleaner when it comes to the numbers and the letters. Because instead of being yellow and white, they're just gold and yellow. And you know what? I mean, their home jersey is much better. But I do think that if they removed a little more white from the jersey, it would actually make it a bit better. So anyways, I'm now going to move on to the one team that in my personal opinion, has the very worst CFL jersey of them all. The Saskatchewan Roughriders. Not only do I think this is the worst signature jersey of the bunch, I also would argue that it's the worst jersey in the CFL right now, in the entire CFL. And on top of that, I would even argue that this may possibly be the worst CFL jersey of all time. Now, I know that is a massive statement, but I really do not like this jersey, and honestly, I think it's terrible. When I say that the Blue Bombers' third jersey is horrendous, this thing is a downright train wreck. First off, you've got your bright green helmet with these neon green wheat markings all over it, and it looks like a giant watermelon. And I get it. Saskatchewan Roughrider fans are jokingly known as watermelon heads. But to make your helmet look like a watermelon, or something that similar, yikes. And there's not even a logo on their helmet. It's just these little neon green wheat markings all over this Kelly green helmet. And it just looks horrible. And guess what? That's just the tip of the iceberg. No pun intended. Anyways, the jersey's Kelly green just like their home jersey, which is an utter piece of crap. And this thing actually makes their home jersey look good in comparison. I mean, it's green. It's got these shiny chrome silver numbers and letters for their names with black wheat markings on the numbers and the letters. However, get this. The black and the chrome silver on the numbers and letters is nowhere to be found on the rest of the uniform. Not on the striping, not anywhere. Like, really? What the hell? And then on the lime green, or on the Kelly green jersey, you've got these lime neon green piping that goes from the arms to the collar, just like the Argonaut signature jersey. And where that signature jersey in Toronto is not so bad, this one is really bad because it's got that weird neon green markings on it, and it's got the wheat patterns on the ends of the arms, and it just looks horrible. And guess what? There's still more. The pants are a dark gray. Like, let's say it's as dark gray as the Hamilton Tiger Cats signature jersey. And the dark gray and the silver chrome and black on the numbers are nowhere to be found on the rest of the entire uniform. The dark gray is not on the jersey or the helmet or the socks, and the chrome silver and the black in the numbers and the letters is not to be found anywhere on the pants, the socks, the shoes, or the helmet, or any other part of the jersey. And it's just a mess. And then, to bottom it all out, they've got plain Kelly green socks. And, I mean, the jersey itself, the whole uniform is just a bloody mess. It's absolutely horrendous. And I don't know how anybody could have signed off on it. I mean, it's just so freaking bad. I mean, I'm going to say this, actually. If they would have just kept everything the same and just made the jersey black and used their regular green home helmet, the jersey would have actually not been so bad. It would have still been terrible, but at least it would have been Kelly green with fluorescent green, neon green accents everywhere. I mean, black and fluorescent green looks a hell of a lot better than Kelly green and fluorescent green. Or, pardon me, Kelly green and neon. I mean, black and neon looks 100 times better than Kelly green and neon. I mean, I just don't know what the hell these guys were thinking. And, you know what? All Saskatchewan had to do was just make a black version of their green throwback jersey they wear for the Banjo Bowl between them and the Bombers every year. That's all they had to do. But nope, they had to come up with some new thing that's just absolutely downright hideous. And I mean, I just don't get it. I mean, these guys really, really screwed up. And I said that the Red Blacks and the Blue Bombers had terrible jerseys. These guys have the worst of all the signature jerseys by a country mile. Now, moving on to the final two teams in the West that turned out far, far better. Let's start off with my favorite signature jersey, and that is from my favorite team, the BC Lions. Now, I know this is making me sound like a real homer, and it makes me sound extremely biased, I'm sure. But you know what? The BC Lions did an absolutely fantastic job on their gunmetal grade jersey. And here's why I think that. First off, did you know that the design of the jersey itself is actually a throwback to their old 60s uniforms? Yeah, when they came out with that jersey, once I found out, I was absolutely blown away. Because for many years throughout the 2000s, they had that black jersey with the orange and the white on the sides. And the gunmetal gray jersey is kind of a evolution of that. And what I love about it is that they took a throwback look, a throwback design, and a throwback logo with their paw, which has been around since the 1960s. And you know what they did? They came up with something completely new. They put this completely new idea on a traditional look, and they did a fabulous job. And you know what? When they first came out with it, I thought the idea of a flat black helmet was absolutely terrible, especially with some of the train wreck uniforms that I've seen in the NCAA and college football in the States in general. But the BC Lions, they did an awesome job. They put their old classic paw logo on a flat black helmet and decked themselves out in this crazy, super stealthy, dark gray jersey with black numbers on it and orange letters for the names. And it was something completely new, and I really think they did an awesome job. And I still can't believe that they were able to take an old style look and make something that great out of it. And for a third jersey, it's absolutely awesome, and I just love it. Now, to finish off, I'm going to finish off with the Calgary Stampeders because, hey, they're the last team left to cover. Now, for them, I absolutely love their entire signature jersey, top to bottom. I think that their whole signature uniform is actually far better than their home and road jerseys. And I really wish that they would just make a red version of their new signature jersey, because I think that would be awesome, and I think it would actually be quite a step up from what they're wearing now. However, if it wasn't for the helmet and a couple other things, this jersey would actually be my favorite signature jersey. And that's coming from a BC Lions fan. Now, anyways, I'm going to start off with the one thing that I really don't care for about this uniform, and it's the helmet. I mean, honestly, I think it's a neat helmet, because on the back it's a shiny red, and then it fades into a flat black on the front, and their logo is chromed, and it's a chrome Mustang on the sides of their helmets. And I think that's a really cool idea. Except the only thing is, I mean, I think the idea of it is really cool. I just don't like the look of it. I mean, overall, with it on their whole entire look, it looks good, but it doesn't look great. And if I had my way, I would either have just had them wear their regular red helmet, or I would have made them a flat black helmet. Either of those, and I really think this would be my favorite signature jersey. For me, there was one thing about the Stampeders' new signature jersey itself that I didn't really care for, and it was the collar. And the reason why I don't like the collars is because it reminds me too much of Nike's Flywire collars, where they've got the plastic Ziploc strips cut up into a zillion pieces and glued onto the front, Anyway, that's what I think it looks like. But the whole look of the collar, it reminds me of the same problem that a lot of the NFL's jerseys have right now and have been starting to be phased out in the past year, and it's that the collar kind of reminds me of a toilet seat because the front of it's black and the back of it's red. And if it was just red all the way around, it would be perfect. But they cut it off, and I think that's a bit of a bummer. I mean, it's a small little detail on this jersey, you barely notice it. So it's a real nitpick on my part, but I honestly think the jersey would be so much better if it was just an entire red collar. But anyway, that's just my thought on it. But the jersey itself, I love how simple it is. It kind of reminds me of their 90s jerseys, where they were really simple. And of course, how can you not love the Colt 45s on the arms, or pardon me, the shoulders? I mean, those are amazing. I think it's a great logo, and it's Calgary to a T. I mean, that logo totally suits a team called the Calgary Stampeders. It really does. And anyway, the other nitpick that I didn't really care about for their signature jersey that I think kind of holds them back a little bit is their pants. And anyways, the red on the sides of the pants looks really good. But I kind of wish there was a little more white on the pants. And I think that if they would have maybe just removed the Calgary word marks off the sides of the pants and had the pants go kind of half red, half white, or something like that, or even just adding a little bit more white, I think the pants would have been absolutely perfect. With that, a different helmet and a full red collar, that uniform would have easily been my favorite signature jersey. But for those three reasons, that's why it's my second favorite and not my favorite signature jersey. So anyways, that's it for my thoughts on all 9 signature jerseys for the CFL. However, before I finish, I'm going to share a few final thoughts. And number 1, I understand that they were trying to make designs and stuff that catered more to younger people such as myself. But you know what? And also, they wanted to try and be more futuristic, and they wanted to promote a new, modern CFL because of their new stadiums. But you know what? That doesn't mean you have to completely ruin your uniforms. That doesn't mean you need these weird gradient things or these weird helmets or camouflage all over your jerseys or these horrible wheat patterns. It doesn't mean that you have to make these hideous jerseys that look like the Oregon Ducks or have plaid helmets. I mean, you know what? I think most people, especially myself included, would just like to see a third jersey that's simple, a little bit different, and just overall a nice uniform. We just want a nice uniform. We don't want these super innovative things all the time. I mean, for an alternate uniform, yeah, it's a nice change. It's something new. But you know what? I think most people would just be happy to see a decent third jersey. And I'm one of those people. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you could pull something off that's completely new, completely out of left field, and make it look awesome, then all the power to you. But you know what? I really didn't like the way the CFL explained their designs. They're like, oh, this is a tribute to the military, and oh, we want to make this suit to younger people. But when you guys do that, your uniforms just look terrible. I mean, seriously, guys, come on. Oh, we wanted to make the Edmonton Eskimos' new signature jersey to be more of a tribute to our team's past, and oh, we wanted the Argonauts' new third jersey to be something different with a big A on the front because it represents the new hub, because Toronto's the hub of Canada, or whatever they said. I can't remember, but some of the reasonings behind their jerseys are just terrible. And you know what? I really wish that next time they decide to make a whole new line of third jerseys, I really wish they'd just take the time to do a decent job and to put together some really great jerseys instead of these weird templated half-assed jerseys. I mean, pardon my French, but some of these jerseys are just terrible. The Rough Riders, the Eskimos, the Red Blacks, the Alouettes even. I mean, they're not very good. They're horrible. I just don't get the thinking there. And I really wish that the next time the CFL attempts a bunch of new third jerseys that they follow suit with Stampeders and the BC Lions and come up with some really good designs and really take the time to create something really good. So now with that, I'm going to share my ranking from 1 to 9 of the signature jerseys in my own personal opinion. And number 1 is my favorite team, the BC Lions. I love their signature jersey. Number 2 is Calgary because they have a few nitpicks that if they fix those, they would easily be my favorite. The third favorite for me would be the Argonauts because you know what? As much as I hate the weird arm-to-collar lines on the front and the back of the jersey, I think the fact that it's white and powder blue is really, really cool and really, really colorful. And the big A on the front, I don't like it, but you know what? The Argonauts tried something new, and overall, I think they made it work. And my fourth favorite jersey was actually the Hamilton Tiger Cats, because it reminds me of a cool BMX shirt. I mean, I think they're a bit of a BC Lions ripoff personally, but you know what? The Tiger Cats overall did a pretty decent job with their alternate jersey, in my opinion. And in number 5, the team in the middle for me would honestly be the Edmonton Eskimos. I mean, their jersey's not great, but it's not horrible. It's just too simple. I think it's a bad jersey, but overall it's not the worst, and it's a little too simple. But anyways, moving on. Number 6, I would say the Alouettes. I mean, their jersey isn't completely terrible, but it's not great. And obviously, number 7 would be the Red Blacks. I mean, theirs is a mess. Looks too much like the Stamps. And in number 8 would be the Blue Bombers because, hey, this thing looks like pajamas. And in number 9, and last place, the Saskatchewan Roughriders because theirs just absolutely is just downright atrocious. But anyways, for now, that's it for my video, and this is also the conclusion of my 2-part video series on my thoughts of the CFL Signature Series jerseys. So, with that, until my next video, anyways, I really hope that for those of you who did decide to watch this video, I hope you've enjoyed it, and I really hope you've enjoyed this series. And until next time, as always, take care and bye for now.